Yeah, so appreciate everybody being on today. You know, it's never easy in our league. Got to go back on the road. I think we looked the other day. We have back-to-back home games, like maybe twice all year out of 18. So this is we're back on the road again, and then we got to play on Tuesday on another short turnaround. So it's the grind. It's January and February, and got to go play number 12 in the country, Kansas State on their floor. Um, it's always a challenge. Jeff does a tremendous job, him and his staff, and obviously they got a great team. They're a veteran team. Sundell's an incredible veteran point guard. Obviously, Lee inside is a monster. She's tough to handle. All American, and you have a lot of issues trying to defend just those two, and then if you help off any of those other three, they can all make shots. They can all make threes. So it's again, it's just kind of part of it. It's what we live in. It's the league we live in, and so they've got a lot of good players. Gabby Gregory's a great player, veteran, savvy, tough, competitive, and of course they got the Glenn sisters, the twins. So it's gonna be a big challenge for us. I'm sure they'll have a great crowd. I hear it's sunny and warm up there, so I'm sure we'll be really distracted trying to get out in the sun and get some rays. And that's, what is it? 5 below is what the prediction is, I think, up there. So we actually are leaving out early. We weren't supposed to leave till 5, but we're getting out at 1:30. Just got out of practice and um, excited about the opportunity.
Okay, Danny, go ahead.
Vic, I think this question can kind of apply to next week as well when Kansas comes to town. But how hard is it to, I guess, defend or game plan for an experience when you have a team like Kansas State that has those five who have played so much, and next week Kansas has a lot of experience and vets on their team. How hard is it to game plan for that?
Well, I think anytime you talk about game planning, you're talking about, what are they running? What are they doing defensively as a team? What are they doing offensively as a, as their philosophy and but then when you get the maturity factor, the kids that can go make plays when you take things away, that's where it gets, really it's hard to game plan for that. And so you've got to have players that can make plays defensively. That's why we do our fundamentals every day, Danny, defensively, because when you do game plan and you take things away from people, then you have to rely on your fundamentals, and people are going to put in new stuff. And so when they do, and you haven't had a chance to go through that, and you've got to adjust on the fly in the game, that's where your fundamentals come in. So, you know, um, I know Madison's young on our team, but in our starting five, we've got some veterans out there too. So our older kids have got to play well, and defensively, and then offensively too. We've got to go make plays. We can't turn the ball over on the road. The road is, as you've heard me say a million times, defense, rebounding, and inside game are always a key on the road. And so we've got to go in there, and you talk about having an inside game against 6'6". You better have a good plan, because you don't want to just keep beating your head in the wall and you go two for the world down there during a game. At some point, you got to adjust and get somebody else a look. Oklahoma just went 19 for 70, 19 for 70 against Kansas State. And, that's always a concern when you go on the road. You got to shoot the ball well and you got to defend. And so they're a savvy team, veteran, got obviously are well coached, and we're going to have to go play well. There's a reason why they beat Iowa earlier in the year.
Terry, go ahead.
Coach, good afternoon. So you have concerns for Kansas State, several of the players and so on. Who on Texas's team is Kansas State worried about? Certainly, we have Madison. How's Taylor doing? Is she's going to be dominant? I mean, who are they going to be worried about?
I think they've got to be worried about several of our kids. Again, we're a veteran group out there with Shay and Shaylee. I've got veterans at the 4-5, and that's where we have a lot of depth. And so I think we're getting healthy at the 4-5, and so with that depth, we can, I think they've got to worry about that. They got to worry about our speed and getting up and down the floor. So I think right now, I mean, obviously we've adjusted somewhat. The game the other night wasn't great, but it wasn't Madison's fault. She played with pace. I just couldn't get anybody else to play with pace. And then we got out toughed inside is what we happened. So we've got to be a little tougher. We've addressed that. So we'll be fine. I think we'll show up and play well.
Is Taylor 100%?
I think Taylor's almost all back. I mean, when you sit out 2-3 weeks, you still get a little rust on your shot, but she looked great today, and she's excited about the challenge and the opportunity. She's a veteran. She deserves the same respect that Aoka gets. I look for a great battle down there because those are two of the top post players in the country. They're both of them are on the watch list for the Lisa Leslie Award. So they both deserve equal respect from everybody involved in the game.
Thank you.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of talked a little bit about my question in that answer that you just gave there, but you mentioned the toughness inside after the TCU game and just how you didn't see enough of it. Through practice this week, were there things that you saw or heard that you identified as like, that's the toughness I'm looking for?
I think our kids, the film doesn't lie, Jeff. And, we watch a lot of film, and probably more than probably any team in the country, which I don't know if that's good or not. It's just how I've always done it. This time of year, when you don't have, the hourly restrictions, when you're off at, during break, it really makes it good where you can really catch up and watch a lot of film. And we've watched a ton of film this week. So, I think I think your team is your team, and you've got to keep trying to coach and teach them and show them and challenge them. And I think that's, I've challenged them the last couple of days about, playing with technique, being tough, having that competitive spirit that it takes to compete. And, up until Wednesday, we had played 2 really good games on the road. And it takes toughness to go in there and do what we did on the road at those 2 places. We just didn't have it Wednesday night. I have no idea. It was just one of those nights. And you look back and you go, hey, that could have been a night where you could have stubbed your toe. So you're excited that you did have the toughness when they cut it to 1, that you did make a run and get it stretched back out. So it's not all the physical toughness that you talk about. It's the mental as well. And so, you get out of that game. Hey, there was other teams in our league that didn't get out as good as we did, right? So you take the win. It's kind of like making an ugly 4 in golf. You take that ugly par. You don't write down ugly next to 4. You just write down 4 and you go to the next hole. And we'll look back in April and it's going to be win number 3. It ain't going to be win number 3 and it was ugly.
Danny, go ahead.
I've never gotten a 4 in golf in my life, Vic. I'd love to put that down. Overall, Shaylee's offensive numbers are down this year. I mean, the shooting numbers percentages are about the same, but she's not getting to the line as much, and her scoring's down. Is that a matter of her having to give more effort on the defensive end, or is she just off this year? What do you kind of attribute that to?
Well, I tell you, I attribute it to our team, Danny. She she's such a great team kid, great team player. Um, she just wants to win. And there's a lot to be said for a kid who was a second team All-American at BYU, who led them in scoring, averaging 17 a game. To come here, she wins a conference championship. Then this year, she's on the number 5 team in the country. She has the experience of playing early and playing in the Connecticut game. And if you talk to her, she's like, Coach, I'm living the dream. That's come out of, I'm living the dream, Coach. I'm on a top 10 basketball team, top 5 team in the country. It's what I wanted when I came here. I wanted this experience. I wanted to be challenged. And so before Rory went down, everybody had a role, and she was playing her role and playing it well, knowing full well she could explode for 20 any night, but knowing that with Rory and Book and Taylor on the floor, and even Amina at the time, who was averaging almost 10, she didn't have to go get 20. Well, now she knows that's changed a little bit. And she's had some big games for us, scored a little bit more. And so, she's going to have to take on a bigger load. That's why the other night was kind of a shock that, she had a hard time not turning the ball over. But, that happens sometimes. But she does understand that she might have to get a bigger role and take a bigger role. And she's capable of that. She wants that. So I just attribute it to, up until 4 games ago, I just attribute it to the team and the chemistry of our team, and her recognizing that and going, hey, and I'm playing on a really good team. I got some players that they're playing on a really good team, but they think they need to score more. They don't realize that's not their role. You don't have to be the star, just star in your role. We talk about that all the time. Just star in your role. Whatever your role is, star in it, be good in it. And for some of them, for some of us, we don't have to be the scorer. You don't have to just defend, rebound, and play good defense. Don't turn the ball over, and there's a lot of minutes. I got people that can score. So I think it's a credit to Shaylee. She's really given in to understanding what our team is all about, and she was playing a role up until when Rory went down. Now she's going to have to take on a bigger role.
Jonathan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Kansas State, really good defensive team. Just kind of what goes into taking care of the basketball against a team like that, especially when you're on the road, and just how important is communication offensively in when you're facing a team like that.
Yeah, Jeff, it's pretty scary going into Manhattan and playing against a team that's holding people to 28% field goal percentage defense. Good job. I'm impressed that you're doing your homework, buddy, because that's a scary number right there. 28%. That's a bad number. 19% from 3. That's their field goal percentage defense. So holding people to 48 points a game. Again, that's a veteran team. They've got great chemistry on that end, and they got the aircraft carrier inside, 6'6". So when you do get beat off the bounce, you got 6'6" waiting on them to throw it in the 5th row. So, and a lot of kids don't even get it out of their hands. They ain't throwing it in the 5th row. It's right back down where it came from. You know what I mean? So it's you got to have a really good understanding and a good plan, I think. And I think we've got one. I think our kids understand kind of where we can get them and where we can attack them a little bit. It's not our first time to play against her. We've gone against her 3 out of the last 4 years. So this will be our 3rd time, I guess. We've gone against her 2 of the past 3. I can't even remember how long I've been here anymore. But that's, you got to have a good plan when you go against somebody like that, because she's their forgiveness player, right? She's their whoopee blanket on the offensive end. They're always looking for her. And then on the defensive end, she's there to cover their rear when they get beat off the bounce. So it's a great team concept. I've had it before when I had Big T, and boy, it makes everybody look good now. And so, it's something that you got to be cognizant of. You got to know where she's at all times.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, just a little clarification from earlier. You said the travel plans changed. Is that because of weather or what went into that decision?
Well, a little bit. I'm a little worried about, I don't want to get we were not scheduled to fly out till 5. We have a 1 o'clock game tomorrow, and it's just that backs everything up so late tonight. If we're going to shoot in the morning, y'all, we got to go at 6:55 to 7:55 to get our shoot around. And so if I got to get them up at 6, I want them to be in their room done with everything at 9 o'clock. Well, if you fly out at 5, you're not landing till 6:45. You don't get to town till 7:10. You're eating at 8 o'clock. We still like to go shoot. Well, that's 9:30. Now you're back at the hotel at 10:15. You hadn't had a chance to watch film and have your player meetings. So, and that's what happened to us at West Virginia. And I really regretted it. I didn't like it. Our kids responded and did a great job, and I was proud of them. I knocked off 30 minutes of our shoot around to let them sleep 30 minutes more. But so the idea of getting out earlier and concerned about weather, they've already been down there and told me they're canceling flights in the Midwest left and right now. So I'm hopeful we can get out and get landed. Because the weather there, y'all, is going to be sub-zero. So my next concern is if I get there, I want to get home tomorrow afternoon. I don't want to I don't want to get stuck somewhere. And with these planes, y'all, they're flying us and 10 other people today. So if somebody screws up in front of you, everything gets pushed back. So 5 could easily end up 7. Or 8. I didn't want that. And so you're at the mercy of these folks. And so that was kind of the reason why we did it, just to make sure we got out, we got there, we can get everything done, and I can get them into bed in plenty of time. Because remember, I got a bunch of All-Americans on the all-sleep team. They're on the all-nap team. They are first-team all-nappers. And I get it. I've been there. We've all been there, right? What we'd all give on this deal to have a nap. Huh? Oh, man. Danny's the only one. He's the only one that has I say that. I don't know. Maybe y'all do, but when it used to be me and Holly fight over putting the kids down. Because if we got to put them down, that meant we might get a nap too. I mean, I hadn't had a nap since I put Blair and Logan down. So they're good. I love them. I like having them. You just don't get them anymore, do we?
Okay.
Well, on that note, I guess it's nap time for me. See y'all later.
Oh, my God. Hey, appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot. See y'all tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Praise the Lord, Longhorns.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Shay, when you're playing a dominant big like you will against K-State, how does that change things for y'all defensively, just knowing the size at that position?
Yeah, for sure. Going into it, it's definitely going to be a team effort. We obviously don't have anyone that's quite as can match the size, so it's going to be a team effort, guarding ball pressure, as well as just we've been focusing a lot of it on practice. But yeah, mostly just a team effort. Got to have help side, all the things. We know one person can't handle all of that, so.
Jay, how much does experience matter? Obviously, you guys have a lot of vets on your team, as does Kansas State. How much does that matter in games like this?
A lot. I think Kansas State is always a hard place to play at, so being able to prepare the younger ones for that and know what we're walking into is really important. And then I think just like going back to like taking care of the ball and not getting sped up is obviously always part of our game plan. And just knowing what they want to do and what they want to take away and how we can still get to our spots. And yeah, just not getting rushed and just making sure everyone on the floor has confidence in our preparation for sure.
Coach Schaefer talked about watching a lot of film. You guys have been watching a lot of film. Is there something about this game coming up that you've honed in on, that in the film that you've watched, is there something that stuck out in your mind that you're going to be mindful of?
Yeah, we have a lot of games back to back right now, so we're trying to get mental reps in the film room for sure. Obviously Aoka is a powerhouse. We really have to like control her and contain her and then not let anyone else beat us, just keep everything contained, keep the ball in front. I mean, guarding the ball is always a really big thing for us. And like I said, just like ball pressure, try to not let the ball even get into Aoka just because she is so skilled and good. But yeah, that's really been our main focus is just dominating in the paint still.
All right, I'll go here. Shay, just simply just, how good do you guys feel right now as a team?
Yeah, we feel good. I think we learned a lot in the TCU game. No one felt like that was our best game or our best performance. So we watched a lot of film and learned a lot. And I think that's really important this time of year is being able to learn from our mistakes. And thankfully, we can learn from mistakes and still get the win, in that game. So just being able to, coach always says, like, I don't need to get beat for something to catch my attention. So just learning having confidence and seeing what we did well. But yeah, we feel good. I think we've had a couple good days of prep, and we're about to head out and we'll have a good shoot around tomorrow.
Coach mentioned toughness, and I guess what he thought was a lack of toughness in that TCU game. What does toughness on the court look like or sound like to you?
Yeah, in the TCU game, I think a lot of it looked like we weren't getting the 50-50 balls, which is always an emphasis for us. I mean, that's just those are hustle plays, those are effort plays, and they're also energy plays. And I think when you are like that has to be like our identity is that we get all the 50-50 balls. Like we want the other team, their scout to be like, y'all have to play hard because they're gonna play hard. Like y'all have to match their effort. And I think that wasn't all the way there in the TCU game. So that's definitely been a focus. We've had everyone's been going really hard in practice and I feel really good about it. But yeah, we just got to be able to dive on the floor, box out, get the rebounds, all the like little details and stuff.
Shay, I think if I recall correctly, a couple years ago, it was the Kansas State game on the road that you said that, hey, we were kind of having fun playing on the road in front of some of these crowds. So I'm kind of wondering, I guess she got it at Texas Tech and West Virginia too, but what are you telling Madison about life on the road in Big 12 play and, these fans, everyone hates Texas, all that stuff, and just kind of what to expect on the road in these games?
Yeah, I think it's even more so this year, this being our last year in the Big 12. I think everyone is I mean, I feel like Texas always has a target on our back, but definitely this year. And just embracing it, like we always say, like you got to look at it, it's like it's us against everyone. Like you got to be ready for that environment and then love it. Like just, if the crowd's silent, that means we're doing our job. You know what I mean? And just when they boo us coming out, like let that like be the fire, just have fun and enjoy it and don't think too much about it. Like you just got to know that going in. I think she's done a really good job. I've always said, even from this summer, I've said that Maddie is super cool, calm, collected. And it's seemed to stay that way, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. So
And I guess my last question for you, did you grow up a Chiefs fan, and has your dad given you any tips about this Kansas City weather that y'all are flying into?
yeah, I did grow up a Chiefs fan. Yeah, he was like, make sure you have your cold gear. He was making sure I was packing all the right things. So yeah, I think we looked, it's gonna be like -6 or something like that when we fly in. It's gonna be really cold. So got to get the lungs ready. We've definitely been talking about it. But yeah, he made sure I was packing everything I needed to.
Shay, with the
But
school year
good.
starting
Appreciate
next,
it.
Sorry. There's one
oh,
more.
Oh, one more.
You're
sorry.
good.
Shay, with the school year starting next week, how does it differ for y'all practicing over the break, and then now you have another thing to focus on as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think our practice times will change a little bit, but I feel like everyone will be able to stay locked in. I mean, we were doing it previously before winter break, and it's definitely a little bit more to juggle. But, I always tell people don't be afraid to ask for help, especially when I was an undergrad. Like, I was in 15, 16 hours. Like, you gotta be willing to ask for help. And we have so many resources here. And I think our academic people do a really good job of making sure that we're all on top of everything. So, yeah, one more thing to juggle. And I'll make sure that all the freshmen are in study hall when they need to be and everything like that. But I think we'll be all right.